years ago, on the eve of Mother's Day, Tyesha Bell vanished. Minutes before leaving her Aurora apartment, she'd taken a late-night phone call. She left her young daughter in a sister's care, left the lights on and a candle burning, and did nothing to suggest she wasn't coming back.
In my heart, I knew something had happened. I don't know what, and still today, I don't know what. But I'm praying she's okay.
What is your hope?
That she is still alive until they prove me different. You know, and I tell people that they don't put my daughter in the grave. We don't know.
Tonight, investigators say the discovery of Tyesha Bell's remains actually happened months ago in a rural area somewhere in Kane County.
This afternoon, we are announcing a new development in a missing persons investigation from 2003.
A number of bones were found along with clothing and other personal effects. After the scene was processed, the coroner's office removed the remains and brought them to the Kane County morgue for additional testing.
But they say it has taken extensive autopsies and studying of those bones to determine it was in fact the young mother who they now say was murdered. Investigators say her family has just learned this news of the discovery in the last 24 hours, so they were still too distraught to speak.
While we followed up on numerous leads over the past 18 years, our frustration mounts considering that we believe someone knows what happened and has yet to come forward. Our detectives continue to work theories in Tyesha's case, but we need more information before criminal charges can be authorized, and that's where the public comes in. The Aurora Police Department has set up a dedicated tip line for this case. Anyone with tips or information about the case is asked to call 630-256-5517. Thank you.
Tyesha Bell was a young 22-year-old mother who had to overcome many challenges on her path. Growing up, she was a headstrong girl, lively, and a bit of a fashionista. At 16, she dropped out of high school, had her first child by 17, and moved out of her mother's home into her own place by 18. She worked for a time at a local packing plant, but later lost the job. Initially, Tyesha's mother Lorna took care of her first child because she says Tyesha just wasn't ready. She wasn't the most mature girl then, her mother said. I could have taught her how to raise her, but I wanted to keep my grandchild. Now I kind of regret that. Lorna and Tyesha didn't always see eye to eye. The two would often have disagreements due to the previous choices Tyesha made and some that landed her in trouble with the law. Luckily, their relationship improved over time. When Tyesha gave birth to her second daughter in 2001 with a different father, Prince Cunningham, she began to change her life. Although the relationship didn't last long, that seemed to be the light bulb Tyesha needed to get her life back on track. She got an apartment with her sister, a place where her and her daughters could live together. Things were looking up from there for all of them. Lorna even said the mother and daughter pair began spending more time together, enjoying long lunches and discussing her grandchildren's future. She believed Tyesha was becoming more responsible, mature, and working on turning her life around for herself and for her children. She wasn't a perfect girl, but she was trying and she was mine, she said, which made it noticeable when Tyesha's behavior started to change around the time she ended her relationship with Prince. Prince Cunningham was a Yorkville man who was described as proud and laid back. Although the relationship was over, the two were still connected because they shared a child. Reports did not go into further detail about the ins and outs of their relationship. Nevertheless, records revealed that Prince provided for Tyesha financially, and he kept relentless tabs on her. Phone records showed Prince would sometimes call Tyesha several times throughout the day. As stated earlier, Tyesha had started acting differently during that time and seemed a bit withdrawn, but no one really knew what was going on. Subsequently, on the evening of May 9th, 2003, Tyesha got a phone call, stepped outside, and never returned again. According to phone records, Tyesha spoke with Prince 6 times that day, but he later denied it. The day before she disappeared, Tyesha and a friend shopped all day for her youngest daughter. She returned home with a summer wardrobe for the then 1.5-year-old who was staying with a cousin. Tyesha was last seen by her younger sister inside their shared apartment that day. But later, in the early morning of May 9, 2003, Tyesha received an unknown phone call. According to reports, she stepped outside, not carrying her identification or any money. She left her television on and candles burning in her bedroom. Unfortunately, Tyesha never returned to her apartment and was not seen or heard from again. When Tyesha's mother received a call saying that Tyesha had not returned home, they all tried to contact her. Over the next day, Tyesha's friends and family left over 50 messages on her cell phone. Unfortunately, her cell phone record shows she never rechecked her voicemail after the early morning hours of May 9, 2003. Therefore, on May 11th, which was Mother's Day that year, Lorna had to file a missing persons report for her daughter. From the beginning, she said something in her heart was telling her that something was wrong. Therefore, over the next few years, Lorna tried to get attention for her daughter's case. Tyesha's case was featured on several national television programs, but nothing was coming of it.
2 years ago, on the eve of Mother's Day, Tyesha Bell vanished. Minutes before leaving her Aurora apartment, she'd taken a late-night phone call. She left her young daughter in a sister's care, left the lights on and a candle burning, and did nothing to suggest she wasn't coming back. But she never did. Police suspect foul play.
Everything certainly leads us to believe that, yes, this is not just somebody that actually walked away from home.
Police had tips, even conducted searches, but found nothing. Tyesha's mother, Lorna Smith, has spent the last 2 years hoping and praying, haunted by not knowing. That has extracted an enormous toll.
In my heart, I knew something had happened. I don't know what, and still today, I don't know what. But I'm praying she's okay.
The last phone call that Tyesha took, records show, came from her boyfriend's cell phone. The disappearance of this 22-year-old woman got comparatively little attention 2 years ago, but Tyesha's mother, buoyed by her religious faith, is determined not to lose hope. What is your hope?
That she's yet still alive until they prove me different. You know, and I tell people that they don't put my daughter in the grave. We don't know.
Throughout Tyesha's daughter's childhoods, they made scrapbooks and wrote beautiful poems about their mother, who they knew would never have left them of her own free will. But despite extensive searches and pleas for help, there was no sign of Tyesha anywhere. Prince Cunningham had been considered a person of interest in her disappearance and is known to have lied to investigators. He claimed he had not spoken to Tyesha for 2 months before her disappearance, but that wasn't the truth. Her phone records showed they spoke to one another 6 times on the day Tyesha went missing. In fact, he is the last person known to have spoken with her. Reports also stated that Prince was less than forthcoming about what he knew and eventually stopped cooperating with the investigation.
When Aurora police first began their investigation into Tyesha Bell's disappearance, they focused on a boyfriend. To this day, he remains a person of interest, but he's not been charged with anything, and the case is not moving.
During our investigations, we thought that he was being less than truthful. And when evidently he felt some pressure, he decided to exercise one of his rights and refuse to talk to us anymore.
Authorities thought that they were onto something when they obtained a search warrant for Prince's property and for his car. They used cadaver-sniffing dogs around his property. They went as far as drilling holes in his basement floor, but unfortunately, they did not indicate the presence of human remains. Police suspected foul play from the start, but after questioning Prince early in the case and searching his home and vehicle without success, their leads had dried up. Police had no evidence to hold him on besides the final phone call that brought Tyesha out the apartment that night. Investigators claimed they had followed up on numerous leads but found no signs of Tyesha from them. Unfortunately, it took more than 18 years for authorities to find another break in Tyesha's case. But on December 11, 2020, a civil engineer found his skull on a property being developed less than 3 miles from where Tyesha used to live. According to reports, on December 11, 2020, a civil engineer found a skull on a property being developed in the village of Montgomery. The village of Montgomery property is about 3 miles from Tyesha's Randall West apartment. A number of bones were found, along with clothing and other personal items at the scene. Once authorities were called to the scene, a forensic analysis determined that the skull was of that of a young woman and later revealed that the skull had been there for more than 10 to 15 years. Months later, during a press conference, police said dental records and the DNA confirmed that the bones belonged to Tyesha Bell. The case immediately changed from missing persons to a homicide because they discovered that she had died from a gunshot wound to the back of her head.
Good afternoon. I'm Jack Fichtel, the Bureau of Investigative Services Commander here at the Aurora Police Department. Thank you all for coming today. This afternoon, we are announcing a new development in a missing persons investigation from 2003. Our detectives, along with the Kane County Coroner's Office and support from numerous other agencies, have positively identified human remains that were located in December. As the remains of 22-year-old Tyesha Bell. As a result of the autopsy, this case has now been reclassified as a homicide investigation. Tyesha Bell was last seen by her sister inside their shared apartment in the 800 block of North Randall Road on the late evening of May 10th, 2003. After she received a telephone call, she left the home, but left the television on, candles burning in her bedroom, and her 2 young children with family members. She had not been heard from or seen since. Over the past 18 years, investigators have tirelessly followed up on numerous leads and theories to bring some sense of justice to Tyesha's family and her loved ones. In December 2020, human remains were located in Kane County. The Kane County Major Crimes Task Force and the Kane County's Coroner's Office were requested to the scene to process and document the scene. The remains were transported to the Kane County morgue for additional testing. I will now turn it over to Kane County Coroner Rob Russell to discuss his portion of the investigation.
Thank you, Jack. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, my name is Rob Russell. I am the coroner of Kane County. In December, the Kane County Coroner's Office was called, December 11th, actually, the Kane County Coroner's Office was called to respond to a wooded area in the county. The skeletal remains were observed in a shallow grave in the wooded area. After confirming the remains were human, we worked together with the Kane County Major Crimes Task Force in processing and documenting the scene. A number of bones were found along with clothing and other personal effects. After the scene was processed, the coroner's office removed the remains and brought them to the Kane County morgue for additional testing. None of the items found at the location confirmed the identification process, so I consulted with a forensic odontologist, which is a dentist, and a forensic anthropologist, which is a bone specialist, to create a profile of the decedent. In mid-December, an autopsy was performed by our forensic pathologist, who is our doctor, with the results pending consultation of the dentist and the bone specialist. Both the forensic dentist and the forensic bone specialist arrived a short time later, and a profile was established. The results of the profile were consistent with an African-American female, 5'5" to 5'11" high, approximately 25 to 40 years of age. After consultation with my forensics team, the manner of death was ruled as a homicide. With the profile being created and disseminated, the Aurora Police Department brought forth a possible ID from their missing persons records. APD had already placed the DNA profile on this individual into the CODIS system, so the profile was available. The CODIS system is a DNA national database maintained by the FBI and that law enforcement agencies can enter profiles into and compare with found unidentified decedents. One of the bones from the scene was sent to the Illinois State Police Crime Lab to create and compare CODIS profiles with this suspected missing person. In March, the State Police Crime Lab confirmed that the human remains were indeed that of Tyesha Bell. APD was notified shortly thereafter. The Kane County Coroner's Office is working with the Aurora Police Department and the Kane County Major Crimes Task Force in the continuation of this incident. Thank you.
While we followed up on numerous leads over the past 18 years, our frustration mounts considering that we believe someone knows what happened has yet to come forward. Our detectives continue to work theories in Tyesha's case, but we need more information before criminal charges can be authorized, and that's where the public comes in. We implore anyone who may have information to please come forward. The Aurora Police Department has set up a dedicated tip line for this case. Anyone with tips or information about the case is asked to call 630-256-5517 or by emailing tips@aurora.il.us. Tips can also be left anonymously for our investigators by calling the Aurora Area Crime Stoppers at 630-892-1000. Thank you.
Everybody, because of the continuing nature of this investigation, we can't answer any questions, but thank you all for coming today.
Do we have a spelling of the name?
Yeah, Commander Victor, can you just Tyesha's name or the
Tyesha.
It's up there.
Okay, thank you.
There's a copy of press release for everybody here. Commander Victor will have just spell your name.
It's Fichtel, F-I-C-H-T-E-L.
Can you say what day you found the bones?
Unfortunately, it's all part of the investigation right now, so can't release that. Could the coroner spell his name as well?
Yes, Coroner Rob Russell, R-U-S-S-E-L-L.
Yeah, we can't release that
Pending.
information right now.
What township was she found?
It's here in Kane County. That's all we're going to release at this time.
Can I ask if any members of her friends or family might be willing to share any words?
We're going to ask to you guys to respect the privacy of the family, so.
Are they here tonight?
All right, thank you guys. This is Eric Westrom. He's the Investigations Division Lieutenant. Jamie Mosser was on the left, she's State's Attorney for Kane County.
We're absolutely not saying where the bones were found anywhere in the city or where the bones were in Kane County.
In June 2022, Prince was indicted for 2 counts of first-degree murder, and his bail was set at $5 million with 10% to apply for bond. Although Tyesha's remains were found, this case is not over. The pretrial begins on February 7, 2024, and as of right now, Prince is fighting back. I have so many questions about this case, especially being that she was found so close to where she was last seen. 18 years. I will continue to keep my thoughts and prayers with the friends and family of Tyesha Bell. This is absolutely disturbing. I will make sure I keep you all updated on this case, being that the trial is coming up. You all, let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below. Let's please make sure we respect the victim and the victim's family in the comments. I love you all dearly. And with that being said, please don't forget to check on your loved ones.